Welcome back to Hardball. We're learning new details even today about just what happened when 24 members of the super elite SEAL Team 6 stormed bin Laden compound. According to NBC News Pentagon correspondent Jim Miklaszewski, the SEALs came under fire right away. Bin Laden's courier shot at them when they first raided the compound, and the SEALs returned fire, killing him. As they raced up the stairs, they shot and killed bin Laden's 19-year-old son on the second floor. The commandos looked up to discover bin Laden himself peering down over the railing above. They fired on him but missed as he ran back into his bedroom. 2 young girls suddenly ran from that room, and one SEAL grabbed and pulled them out of the line of fire. That's when 2 other SEALs rushed the bedroom. One shot bin Laden's wife in the leg as she approached. The other shot bin Laden twice at close range, killing him. President Obama watched the whole operation in real time from the Situation Room in the White House, and just hours ago he met privately with members of that team, the SEAL Team 6. Here's what the president said just moments ago after meeting those commandos who pulled off the most high-profile operation in the history of the SEALs.
They chose to serve in a time of war, knowing they could be sent into harm's way. They trained for years. They're battle-hardened. They practiced tirelessly for this mission. And when I gave the order, they were ready. Now, in recent days, the whole world has learned just how ready they were. These Americans deserve credit for one of the greatest intelligence and military operations in our nation's history.
We're here to give us some insight on what it's like to be a SEAL on a daring mission, something like this. Our John McGuire is with me. He was a SEAL for 10 years. He operated in Europe, Asia, and South Central America, and he served on SEAL Team 4. And Eric Greitens, who was a SEAL from 2001 to 2007, he served as commander of an al-Qaeda targeting cell, as well as a Joint Special Operations Task Unit. He's now a reservist and author of the book, The Heart and the Fist: The Education of a Humanitarian, The Making of a Navy SEAL. Gentlemen, so much an honor to have you on this program, and not just because of this amazing, well, it's an historic week. I want to start with John McGuire, who's with me. We've gotten to know him a little bit here. When you get the call, as the president talked about, what was in the heart of a SEAL?
It's on. Let's do it. It's an honor. I think a lot of the weight or thoughts of the entire American country and all the people that have been affected by this terrorist, all the terror he's done around the world. Just an honor, ready to go.
This sense that you're going in basically for the kill, that you're going after the ultimate world's bad guy who's probably going to fight to the death. Either way, it's going to be dangerous. It's going to be to get him. Is there a special fear about the fact of the firepower? It turned out not to be a lot here, but you're not going to get him easy.
That's right. Well, there's a lot of unknowns, but, you have a job to do. The one thing is the mission. You follow orders and you get the mission done, and you're going to protect your teammates.
Let me go to Eric. Eric, thank you for joining us, and you're still in the service, and thank you for your service.
You're welcome.
Tell me about what you can tell us about what's in the heart and mind and guts of somebody who can swim like a fish. You can be an air trooper. You're a paratrooper. You swim. You can drop. You guys can. What can you do? You can drop you in deep water in the ocean from an airplane. You can swim for hours. You can fight crocodiles. What can you guys do?
Well, SEALs are sea, air, and land commandos, and the whole idea is that SEALs are able to come from the sea, come over land, or in this case, as we saw on Sunday night, come from the air. And in order to develop that kind of capability, they go through the hardest military training in the world. It's called BUDS, Basic Underwater Demolition SEAL Training, and it's a training that's designed to push people to their mental, physical, and emotional limits, to really push people and see how they can coalesce as a team when they come together under pressure. And we saw last Sunday night the great results of that training.
What is it that keeps your blood pressure down, that keeps you cool? Did you know, is it in your brain soup, or do you get trained for this?
You get trained for that. It's the focus. It's rehearsal. We might spend, I think they said on the news, they spent 4 months preparing for this, every contingency. A lot of things didn't go exactly right, such as the helicopter going down. But with all the planning that they have, they didn't miss a beat.
What about understanding the politics of what you're doing? How much do you need to know in an operation like this? You got to know everybody knows who Osama bin Laden is. You know what al-Qaeda is. Do you have to get that sort of context?
You have to have that context, but you follow orders and you do your job.
Let me go back to you, Eric, about this mission. The dangers here, what were they, do you see, when you look into this operation? Being dropped in there by helicopter. Helicopters are the nicest things to fly in, but my experience with them is they're the least reliable of any aircraft. They don't have a great track record. They do let you down. I remember Desert One. We all do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was the lessons of Desert One really helped to create the modern special operations community. And of course, here the helicopters presented a danger, but there's all sorts of things that can go wrong in any operation. And that's why teams like this prepare relentlessly. They practice time and time and time again in order to be prepared for any contingency that's going to happen on the target so that they can react. Lots of dangers here at the tactical level and even, of course, at the strategic level. But that's why this group of warriors was chosen to go in and execute what was obviously an incredibly high-profile operation.
Well, President Obama told Steve Kroft of 60 Minutes what his biggest concern was when it came to sending in those commandos. Here's the exchange between Kroft and the president. Let's listen.
What was the most difficult part? I mean, you had to decide. This was your decision. Yeah. Whether to proceed or not and how to proceed. What was the most difficult part of that decision?
My number one concern was, if I send them in, can I get them out? And a lot of the discussion we had during the course of planning was, how do we make sure there's backup? How do we make sure that there's redundancy built into the plan so that we have the best chance of getting our guys out?
When you fight in these kind of situations, we don't know what our relationship with the Pakistanis is. One village probably differs from the other, in terms of friendliness, lack of friendliness. Do people think about Black Hawk Down? Do they think about Desert One, John? What do you got as your worst case situations? Will the people turn on you or what?
Well, you have to cover all your bases. In the plan, they have every contingency, backup helicopters, fire support. But it's all about teamwork. It's all about leadership. It's all about confidence. When you're on a team, it takes everyone to succeed. When you're on a team, everyone counts on everyone to do their job. And these guys, like he said, put so many hours in to make sure they get it done.
How did the SEALs get this? This wasn't a marine operation. This wasn't coming in from the water. Why do you think the SEALs got this call?
Well, I got to tell you, these particular SEALs are seasoned. They're a little bit older and a lot of missions and experience behind them. And they're very good. They're the best.
What do you think of these simulations? They good?
I wasn't there. I wasn't there, and I'm not much of a computer guy, but it is amazing.
Eric, what do you think of these simulations we've been watching? I'm always amazed at NBC's ability to do these things, but is that about right?
Of course, I wasn't there. I wasn't on the ground. It would be hard for me to say, how accurate they actually are, but they certainly look good, Chris.
Let me ask you about contingency. And again, redundancy seems to be a big part of this, to have more soldiers than you absolutely need, more choppers than you absolutely need. The idea you had, what was it, 2 went in, 1 went down, right? You had a third to come in and replaced one of the first 2. You had another one as a backup. So basically doubling the helicopters you need to get the job done. It seems like we're really, as you said, Eric, we're living in the days after Desert One. No more sending in just enough helicopters to do the job, because Carter was short 1, couldn't go through with the operation.
Exactly. What they want to do is relentlessly plan and think about anything that might go wrong so that they can then react to that situation and keep that focus on achieving that mission, which was obviously eliminating bin Laden and then pulling intelligence off of the target. And as you practice, one of the things that you're going to do is step back each time and figure out what the lessons learned are so that you get better every single time that you're practicing. And one of the things that we have to recognize, of course, is that it was that tremendous dedication to practice, that tremendous dedication to service. A lot of these guys have been at this for almost a decade that actually led to the successful operation on Sunday night.
Well, you guys are great explainers. In addition to all your guts and what you do, you're very good physically and orally. This is a really good presentation today. I don't know where we got you guys from, but thank you, John. And thank you for your service, both you fellas, Eric and John. Eric Greitens and John McGuire.